brain is going bye-bye for the next few weeks. I will be on with you guys Monday mornings, but my brain is already on the World Cup.
Oh yeah, you got that starting out. What is it today?
It started
noon?
yesterday. Started yesterday, but the U.S. game is today. We play Wales. That'll be Central Time. I guess it's noon.
Noon
kickoff.
Yeah.
One kickoff. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So, but we are on our market report, and we're going to tie this in a little bit to our mortgage report.
Okay.
We are seeing for sellers, Realtor.com and their Market Watch, reporter is saying that home prices are going to fall by 8% next year. They are saying that by the end of next year, mortgage rates will be dropping down, but no lower than 5.75.
Okay.
Hold on, let me see. Did Skylar click off again? Yeah, she did. And they're also going in and saying that looks like the median income household buying a median priced home, the mortgage payment as a share of income rose to 28.5 in October 2022, from 13.3 in May 2020. That's pretty eye-opening. I almost have to read this twice. Put that in layman's terms for us.
Well, I mean, I look at, when I look at these reports, and you have to look at a lot of different reports and a lot of different analysts, because they all say things a little bit differently, so that you could at least grab as much information as you can to make the best decision. I mean, if I look at the last 6 recessions, 4 of the last 6 recessions, actually home prices appreciated. Right. So 1980, you had a 6.1% appreciation. 1981, 3.5. 2001 was 6.6, and 2020 was 6%. So we've seen home prices appreciate. The only 2 were in 1991. It was negative 1.9%, and then obviously 2008 was our big number, which was down 19.7%. Now that was not typical, right? I mean, there was a lot of mortgage products that were in that market that were not working at the level that they're working at today, given we went really lax on credit requirements and down payment requirements and credit requirements. And, that's part of the process of still learning, but yet providing mortgage instruments that get people into homes as interest rates adjust. And I think we've done a really good job from 2008 to where we are today, and still providing really good instruments and mortgage products to get buyers in, keeping payments lower, like 3-2-1 buy downs, 2-1 buy downs, 1-0 buy downs, and not sacrificing necessarily the credit that it would take to get that stuff, or the down payment that it's going to take to get it, if you can't document income and things like that. So, I feel as an industry, we've done good. I don't anticipate seeing, those types of home prices going down at that level. I mean, I still see, we're still projecting, like in 2022, the market came out and projected earlier this year roughly a 9% appreciation in 2022. 2023, it may come down a little bit to about 4%, but every year, and this is on a national basis, right? Not just here locally in the DFW Metroplex, but we're seeing positive numbers even nationally.
It's definitely difficult
Mm-hmm.
if you're living in Dallas-Fort Worth to follow the national trends.
Yeah,
it's very rare that I do that, but because to speak to some of the insulation that the Dallas market sees.
Well, I mean, when you look at a national trend and it's positive, I feel very confident in our DFW market, right? Because while nationally we've seen declines, the DFW marketplace, Texas marketplace, hasn't experienced that type of decline whatsoever, because we have, the companies that do move in to these areas for, tax relief purposes. The individual home buyers that want to move from California or move from up north, are getting a better lifestyle. I would say a better lifestyle because of our weather, our just in general, the way that people can live here is quite a bit different than the way they can live up north. I always kind of laugh a little bit with my northeastern friends. I'm like, man, I know you guys always tell me you love it, but there's every time I look at you on Facebook, you look like you're really mad. We don't do that here, right? We got sunny days, even when it's 37 or 40 degrees. But you have a lot of those types of things that speak to why companies move here and why our pricing is a lot more insulated than what it is in other markets.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Skylar, you want to piggyback on that?
I mean, that's what I tell a lot of our clients that come in here as well, is that Texas, just generally, we play by different rules. I mean, we're all the headquarters come to headquarter. And I mean, you know me, I'm an optimist, but I also am super analytical. I really like facts and statistics.
Yeah.
And looking at all this, I know I'm young, but I've been in the industry, I mean, what now, like 9.5 years?
Yeah.
And this doesn't scare me. Like, even the prices going down, the only people I think that are going to be really affected, homeowner wise, if you're looking at selling, are going to be those that haven't been in their home very long. But otherwise, like appreciation, you're going to be okay. If you've been in your house, and I tell everyone this that buys a house with us, the goal, try to be in it at least 2, but ideally closer to 5 years. Somewhere in that 2 to 5 years, you're going to have enough equity to be okay.
Yeah, I completely agree.
We had the storm, where we got so spoiled by, what prices did. I say spoiled, that frenzy of, oh my gosh, my house is worth what? My house is worth what? But seeing that, okay, it's going to come down some. Yeah. We have interest rates that are higher. Historically, we're still on the lower-ish side. It's not like, it's not doom and gloom. Everything is still possible. Homeownership is still possible. Making money off selling your house is still possible. But it just has to be the right circumstances.
Yeah, guys, I completely agree, Skylar. I mean, that was a great comment. I mean, you go back 2 years, trying to sell your house today is going to be a bit more of a challenge because you haven't had the time, right, to get that money back that one, you paid for the house or had to invest more money into that house. So you're going to win. It's just going to take you longer than the person that bought 5 or 7 years ago that's winning today, right? And so when you purchase today in the market that we're in, even with the rates where we are, I mean, and we could talk about that all day long because I talk about it. You got all the buy down strategies. There's so many reasons why you can buy today and still win, and you don't have to be worried about the higher rates because of what we're projecting, as Tommy mentioned, what we're projecting at the end of the year. But really, more importantly, I think we're seeing it more towards 2024, where we're going to definitely be at least projecting definitely being in the 5s. Starting in that first quarter of 2024.
Now, guys, I want to point out we have someone who has posed a question. Curious to see the pricing trend for Mansfield, Cedar Hill, Duncanville, and DeSoto. Will this be a bargain in 2023? Thank you, Mr. 619 USC. This is from these are suburbs in our southern quadrant. And this is an interesting question because one of the things that we have to assess is what we see individually as a bargain. Now, I don't think that you are going to come across too many realtors that are going to now or a year from now tell you that if a home has been on the market 3 weeks, a month, or what have you, to make that offer full price. Okay. I think one of the ways that we get our pricing in check that was out of whack in 2021, the onus is on the real estate professional. It's on the realtors for us to coach our buyers, as I think a lot of us did not. I think in 2020 and 2021, we in large, we got away from our aggressive nature. And therefore, before even looking at any comps, we would tell our buyers, this house just came on the market. You're going to have to make an offer $50,000 over asking price. When perhaps the listing agent did their homework and they had priced that home correctly. You see what I'm saying? So I think that we need to do our best as realtors to coach our buyers to get these prices back down. So I don't know. I think there will be opportunities to get listings under asking price next year, just as there are this year. Now, do you see that as a bargain? Or when we talk about bargains or deals, are you looking at the prices from last year and what they're going to be next year? So I think there's two different metrics to looking at what you see as a steal. The value to, what you're going to make your offer at, the value, or the asking price. You see what I'm saying?
I mean, I would chime in and say I think you have a better opportunity today to find bargains than you did 2 years ago, only because of just natural supply and demand and competition. I mean, we have that. I mean, we have a great opportunity today, given where we think interest rates are going to go, to be able to get the same house for even asking price or a little bit below if we did a 2-1 buy down or 1-0 buy down, and then we refinance the loan next year when rates are in the 5s, or even later on in the year if we see the progression with rates going lower. So ultimately, I think if it depends on the strategy, short-term versus long-term strategy. Today I feel like, and it's just, well, I shouldn't say feel, because I look at numbers so much. So like Skylar, I deal in facts. I don't feel, I can tell you that in this conversation, but I always default back to my metrics and my analysis, because it tells me and my clients, this is the right decision. Like, I'm dealing with a client today. I mean, it's $685,000 VA purchase. We're trying to decide, or he was, should I offer 685 or should I offer, a little bit lower? And, obviously we showed him on a VA loan the maximum allocation of closing costs and what that could do for his buy down strategy. And ultimately that's the way he wants to go, because it saves him the most up front, and he gets to win over the life of the loan when we come back and refi. So it's a very personal decision for people right at this point.
I want to go back to what I was saying. To our viewer here, thank you for this question. So long as you're going to get a good deal, so long as you are cognizant, you and your real estate professional, your realtor, are looking at the days on market. I think that's the big driver here when people are talking about, what's going to be a good deal, be it this year or next year, be it Mansfield or Fort Worth or Anna. You got to look at your days on the market.
Yep.
All right. And look at your time of year as well. I think any realtor that's worth their salt is going to say, right now in the fall, when people typically don't, aren't putting just a ton of energy into their house hunts, these homes are going to sit on the market a little bit longer, and there's great opportunity for you. Tremendous. This year, next year, any fall is going to be a good time for you to go out and make an offer on a house that's been on the market 60 days or 30 days. And the brilliant thing is that you can actually find those by comparison to last year. Even last fall, we weren't seeing properties sit on the market longer than 14 days.
Yeah.
All right, Bob. Go ahead, Skylar.
I was going to say, I feel like the general rule, whether you're in a super hot market, you're in a little bit slower, more dynamic market, it's just if you're priced right, and sometimes it's hard to know because the market changes so quickly, but if you're priced right according to condition, you will sell quickly. Yeah. And then sometimes you just have to, play with that price a little bit, because again, the numbers change so fast. We can't always know that exact sweet spot right when we list, if you're right in the middle of a shift.
Yeah.
So it does take a little bit of wiggle room there. But at the end of the day, I mean, I was with buyers this weekend and there were homes at great prices, but they didn't match the condition for today's market. And so it's, even though the price, we're not used to seeing prices maybe in the 300s again or under 300,
right? You
can still be overpriced at that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Bob's got a little bit to share with us. Do you have the opportunity to share your screen? Anything from your end, Bob?
Yeah, I can share this. Let's see.
What have you got for us, Bob?
So let's take a look here. So can you guys see my screen at this point?
Not yet.
All right. It's okay.
I'm just happy to be on. My internet has.
It says I'm sharing.
Okay, let's add it.
There you go.
Oh,
Now
there
I
we
got
go.
you.
All right. So now we got the share screen in, right?
Yep.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay, so what we're looking at here, guys, this is the charts that I look at as far as mortgage bonds and 10-year treasuries. So we're going to go over here and look at some of the treasury, because right now the bonds have a friend in the 10-year treasury and the 50-day moving average. This black line right here is the 50-day moving average.
Okay.
And you can see over the last couple of days, we've been bouncing down below off basically the ceiling of that 50-day moving average and going below. We want the 10-year treasury to move down because that will help and improve the bond market, right? So we're sitting here at roughly, let's see, what is it? Yeah, 3.7880. We would love to see the 10-year treasury move back down to the floor right here at this 3.671. because that's going to positively impact mortgage rates. So if we look at the mortgage bonds, you can see that this is the last couple of days that we got here as the 10-year treasury was bouncing off of that 50-day moving average. You're seeing that we have a really tight ceiling of resistance right here. And we're bouncing down. So every time it creeps up, that 10-year treasury creeps up, we get a little bit better, but then when it doesn't improve and go down, then we won't see mortgage bonds improve. If the 10-year treasury does fall, then you're going to see mortgage bonds be able to break above the ceiling of resistance and start moving up towards the 100-day moving average here, which could, we could see 3/8 to a half a point decrease in interest rates. So that's why we're following the 10-year treasury really hard right now.
Can I ask you a question, Bob?
Absolutely.
These charts keep you in the world of now, correct? Is it true? It seems as if a loan officer is rarely able to get a glimpse too far into the future. If so, if you do get a glimpse from these indicators, how far in the future do the indicators allow you to look?
Yeah, so we're using past and present to predict future movements, right? So we have to look at what is happening. If you see this line right here, you have 5-6 days. Every day we test and we come back down. So we call these ceilings of resistance, and these are floors of support. So as we're moving closer to ceilings of resistance and floors of support, we're looking at what has the past done based on that market. And then what are the indicators today in this market as far as, news, because market news moves the needle in bonds and treasuries. What's the market news out there? And will it have enough positive impact for us to break a threshold and then restart a new ceiling and floor? Because if we can break this, then obviously that now becomes the red line, becomes our floor. And then we have a ceiling of resistance up here in that 100-day moving average. So now we have a different trading range. So yeah, we look at past and present, but it's really there to indicate what's going to happen in that future, the future results. Because like this weekend, we got some really good news this weekend because Fed President Raphael Bostic spoke, and he said he's no longer in favor of large rate hikes. And he also said that the economy progresses like he thinks it will. He believes the Fed has about 75 to 100 basis points of hikes left, which is great news because that translates to the well-telegraphed 50 basis point rate hike that we're already projecting December 14th, right? And then that may leave 25 to 50 basis points hike for February 1st, which kind of coincides with why Realtor.com and our analysts would tell us that we're going to start to see rates shift lower towards the end of 2023, but really focusing on 2024 at that point.
Wow, man. So again, tell us a little bit about what this means today. Are we seeing that they're going to hold? I ask you every week, and I'll probably continue to do this, what this means for the interest rates and people that are looking to lock in, people who are starting their house hunt, you know, we don't want to ask, is it a good time? But a lot of people want to know, is it a good time?
No. I mean, we talk about it all the time. So I don't. I think the answer lies in the client's risk tolerance.
Sure.
You know, we can look at something today, and we look at what their close date is, right? And if it's within 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 120 days, we're talking about, okay, this is the potential movement that we could see, and how that impact, what that impact would have in interest rates. So if it moves up, this is what you're going to see in payment increases, because rates are more likely to go up faster than they are to go down, right? So we're going to hold back a little bit more and not just all of a sudden pop a 50 basis point decrease in rates. It's going to take a lot of market movement to do it, but it won't take a lot to get rates to go up. So if your risk tolerance is on the low end, then I'm suggesting we lock, and that's what I'm doing and recommending. The market tells us right today, based on where the 10-year is and our mortgage bonds are, and the news coming out this weekend, that we should float a client's rate. Okay, that we should recommend a floating position to a client because the analysts feel that there's going to be some price improvements coming in. Okay. And it's really that statement is, okay, let's float, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's the right decision for every client. So we talk to them about that, and we show them, okay, for every 1/8 of a point up or down, here's what that change in payment could be, and here's what the cost could be over that period of time. So if you like where you're at and you don't like the risk, let's lock it and move on down the road. And that way you can focus on the fun part of building the house or getting the house ready to move into in 30 days.
So float meaning the opposite of locking it in.
Yeah, Skylar. So floating means So lock means we're securing that lock on the market, and we're taking that lock going forward through the closing date. Floating it means we all feel, and the client feels the same way, that their rate will actually improve, or the cost to get that same rate will improve. Right, because some people say, okay, I'm gonna pay $5,000 to get this particular rate. Well, tomorrow if rates improve, they may not take a lower rate, but it may only cost $4,200. So they save themselves $800 right off the bat.
Yeah.
And so, those are conversations we have to have, and that's what floating would be. Now, the opposite could happen, and if something were to come out, tonight that has a significant impact in the market, then they're going to be subject to whatever that market opens up at it, and it could be worse.
Again, going back to that risk tolerance.
Yeah. Yep. Well, thank you so much, Bob. I want to flip over to our home of the week, and this one is actually presented to us by Drees Custom Homes. This is the Braden floor plan out at the community of Walsh, which is going to be our community highlight. And they are starting this home at $908,000. This home starts at 4,000 square feet. It is a 2-story home, 4 or 5 bedrooms. It is semi-custom, 4 to 5 full bathrooms, and there is a half bath on this floor plan. This is going to be pretty fun. I like this one because we got a little video here we're going to get into on. Let's go back.
Do you know what my favorite thing about Drees is?
Tell me.
Their closets.
They do have some pretty awesome closets.
They have amazing closets.
All right, let's pull up that screen.
Look at that, wraparound porch. Semi-wraparound.
Yeah, you don't get this just a ton.
Walsh is doing it, though. Oh, that's cute.
All right.
Colorful. Look at their ceiling. I'm so happy ceiling details are coming. Really in.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of coffered ceilings. Shiplap.
Yeah. Panel design. I love the colors, love the pop.
Yeah.
Geez, pause.
Wow.
There's a lot going on there.
That's
But
brick all the way up.
yeah, you gotta like, and you know what? We say brick. I think it's faux brick. Okay. I don't think it's, it's definitely not the exposed brick on the outside. But we have to be careful of that in North Texas, because a lot of people that move here, for instance, from like the East
Mhm.
Coast, there is a lot of exposed brick in
There
New York
is.
City, in the inner cities of like Boston or
Mhm.
Connecticut, because we're talking older structures. We do faux brick here, people. So don't come here thinking it's going to be a true exposed brick. There is insulation. This is an exterior wall, as you can
Mhm.
see. There's going to be the exterior brick, insulation, and then this is a faux brick,
Yeah.
or that actually looks like it could even be like a colored subway tile, like a
I don't.
painted subway tile. No?
Oh, I mean, it's so hard to tell because it's kind of a matte on it.
Yeah. Oh, look at the grains. It's
Yeah.
textured, so
I think
there's
it's
no
a
way they
type of
really
brick
did that.
veneer, maybe like a halfway brick, because some of that
Yeah.
brick is kind of like squishy, the cheaper one, and I don't think Drees would do that
No.
to us. I think it's probably maybe like a quarter half brick veneer on it.
It's so interesting. Now, Bob, while we're going through this, talk to us about on new construction. This is Drees Custom Homes,
Mhm.
and we need to make sure that all of our viewers understand the world of new construction here in North Texas.
Okay.
When they are represented, someone reaches out to their realtor, and their realtor takes them into a model home. They need to understand that every builder does have their own loan
Yeah.
officer, their preferred lender, so to speak.
Right.
You will likely be required to pre-qualify with that lender, but the builder does not
Yeah.
cannot
Mhm.
force you to use that lender. They can make it difficult for you to hire an outside lender, but that's why we have our own
Yeah.
Bob Johnson on. Talk to us a little bit about this new construction process with Bob Mortgage.
Yeah, I mean, that's just part of what's going to happen, right? I mean, you're going to walk in and you love the house, and that's the most important thing, and that's what you're gonna go for. Now, they're going to want you to typically pre-qualify or pre-approve with their in-house mortgage company, and that's just really to control the process a bit more, which is perfectly fine. But they're not going to prohibit you from using someone else, just like you said, Tommy. So the key is to get a second opinion. The key is to have a conversation with someone that is independent of the builder, so that and this is all we do, so that we can really look at it and say, okay, here's the analysis and what we could get you compared to what the builder can, because sometimes their incentives or their rates or whatever may not be as aggressive as what we find on the brokerage side. But at the end of the day, we just need to compare and say, okay, this is the right decision for you, whether it's with them or it's with us.
Mhm.
And or it's taking out a different strategy, which is taking the largest incentive you can get from the builder, and using their company, and then coming back, and when rates come down, refinancing with us. So there's different ways to approach it, and obviously, guys, that's what we do with you guys, is just make sure the client is in the best possible loan once they've determined they love a particular home.
Sometimes they can get it from the builder because the
Yeah.
builder's offering X amount of incentives that can't be matched by anyone. And
Yeah.
I'll tell my buyers, hey, look, it is what it is. But every single time I will present that quote that you're getting from the builder's lender to an outside lender. Hey, we got to understand the power of numbers, and you got to have a couple people fight for your business.
Yeah.
Bob knows he knows it.
Yep.
You get a
Well,
couple.
I mean,
You go
yeah, I
out
mean,
for,
the builders lenders handout, it's empty, and they're just getting the business fed to them, so they don't really have to worry about you shopping them or worry about the best terms or whatever, because they know you're getting all these incentives. And then on my side, I'm really looking at it as to what incentives can be given, and then what's the overall savings that we can provide a client over a particular period of time that they're going to keep the house. So 9.9 times out of 10, we win long term, right? Because we're providing lower interest, which is going to save you tens of twenties of, could be more than that, thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
sure.
But they would have to potentially give up some of the money up front. So those are just conversations we have.
there's a lot going on in this model, isn't there, guys?
Yeah.
Like even as
I
we're talking,
love it.
I had to go back and did you see that pop out like on the side of the island? I'd never seen that
I
type of
didn't.
outlet before. I feel like I have to go back. Where was
Yeah.
it? Oh, right after this. Look at this. I've never seen that before. Did you see it?
Oh, wait, what?
Look at that.
Oh.
Modern
Okay.
functionality.
Goodness
Okay.
gracious. That is a first for me.
Mom of mobile baby over here. I'm a fan.
There it is. Yes, so that's wild. You're getting full reaction here, people, of this Drees model home for their Braden floor plan. Let's go back to the master because there was
Is
a
that a
lot
built-in
going on.
fridge? Did I see
Where?
it?
Back in the
in the kitchen.
in the kitchen?
Oh, look at that mirror. That's pretty too.
Maybe. Yes. It looks like Sub-Zero.
Sub-Zero. Yeah.
Goodness gracious. Yeah, they're saying this is starting at 908,000. Now, this is a model home.
So
Everybody,
this is not 900.
yes, spank your own hand if you think that you're going to go out and get this exact same house, even if it's unfurnished, for $908,000. I would guess that this model home has about $200,000 of upgrades in it. So this is probably 1.1. This is probably 1.1 to 1.1 and a half.
I love. So there's a lot of interior decorating going on in here that's definitely influencing the aesthetic.
Yeah.
But I love that we are getting into something that is just giving us a different aesthetic than we're typically seeing in new construction. Like we've been getting too predictable.
We've missed this. This is very colorful, and people are now. You know what it is? It's the influence that we got from the coasts, from and I can't just say the coast, but people have come into North Texas. Outside influences,
They brought their art.
They brought their artsy type of influence to even just staging real estate. But you have to credit the builders. I feel like I need that. I feel like
I love that they're finally committing to something.
Right.
I think that it's a stronger product. And I get that it's scary that way. You're afraid to commit to color. You're afraid to commit to bold choices.
It drives us crazy as listing agents sometimes. But while you're living in the home, it is because you can get it wrong, right? That's the scary thing. You can get it wrong. And then the value of your home decreases because nobody's buying your house when you put it on the market.
And wrong. It's your house. When you're listing it on market, we like to call it to be specific.
Oh, look at that.
Did you see the electric shades?
Well, that was a secondary staircase with a private upstairs living area. So
that's a kitchenette.
Yeah, it's a kitchenette.
Yeah, that's a mother-in-law suite.
Yep, sure is.
It is upstairs, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can see down below the fence line. You're definitely elevated.
Look at that paneling on the walls.
Private upstairs living area.
Jeez, this is a lot. I mean, you're getting a lot for this.
What is this called, guys? Do you know?
I think it's actually board and batten. One sec, Googling.
At a girl, I believe you. Just because you came out with it like that.
Strong. She came out strong.
Yeah, we call that with conviction.
Oh, wow.
Smart home automation. I'd be willing to think that is a standard feature. Because almost every builder offers
oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, I love how that's opened up. You can see how they open it up to the living area. That's great space.
I don't think, but it's possible. These can't be those can't be electric doors that open. These have got to be the push-aways, right?
Push-away slide doors. Yeah, either way though.
Seen them like that. Well,
I don't even see a place. It would have to be on this wall, right?
Oh, wait. Maybe it's already open. That's what's happening.
But it is open. But but my point is that you see how thin, not that part. This top part is.
Mhm.
Usually it's much thicker. That black frame, if you will, is much thicker. That way, when you push them away, or is it?
Okay, so some of them, and I think Drees was one of the ones that started doing this first. So some of them, it's like they compounded a different way, and then some of them like melted into them. So I'm not explaining this well, but I do think it is one of those push away doors, the 3-tier where it goes.
Yeah.
Bob, what's are people getting creative on their mortgaging for, on their financing for something like this, or is this pretty straightforward?
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, I think the price ranges on those you said was right around from 908 to
About $1 million price
like
point.
$1 million or something. So, I mean, you could do 20% down, you could do 10% down. I mean, there's a unicorn 5% down product out there, but it's a little bit difficult to get into, but there is a 5% down, but mostly people go with either 20 or plus down or 5 or 10% down. And, I mean, that's going to, a $900,000 purchase. I mean, that's going to put your all-in payment probably with insurance and tax, homeowners insurance and property taxes around $6,000, on that 908 price. And then, 10% down probably puts you closer to $7,600.
Interesting.
And then if you go up to that $1 million, I think, which is where they said the range was from 908 to $1,013,000, that probably has more of the incentives.
Yeah.
Your payment's going to go up roughly $700, right? I mean, it's going to go $6,000 to about $6,700 if you're looking at the 20% down product, and that 10% down is really good. And you actually don't have mortgage insurance on those products either. So that's about how creative you can get. You're not really doing any and that's without buy down points or anything like that. So it just depends on how you want to handle the incentives and the negotiations with trees and stuff like that on how to use that money the best.
Very interesting. Bob, we appreciate you, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Hey, I don't know if I'm going to talk to you before Thanksgiving. I know we'll roll back in after Thanksgiving, but I'm very thankful for each of you guys. I'm thankful that you include me on this podcast, home show, Mortgage Minute, all that kind of stuff. Hopefully, there's enough value in it for the audience, and the audience finds value in it. But just want to say thank you to both of you guys for everything, and we'll see you.
You're welcome, man.
Have
We appreciate your knowledge, man. We appreciate your sharing. Have a good week. All right.
You too. Take care.
Bye.